Oh, that's a good opening.
This could be the offset chamber.
Another anomaly, it's this one in the northern tip of the swamp.
The name Oak Island always brings to mind the same question. What lies beneath? But this time, things are different, as the History Channel has, for the first time, openly stated that the treasure has indeed been found. But the story isn't as simple as it sounds. What was found underground isn't just gold. It's something that left even the experts stunned for a few seconds. While the team was drilling 9,100 feet down, the machine suddenly hit a heavy metallic cavity, so clear and perfect that ground engineers exclaimed, "This can't be natural." Cameras were rolling, and the crew's faces displayed both fear and excitement. When the chamber finally opened, the faint golden reflection emanating from within shocked everyone. Estimates suggest the value of the material inside could exceed $200 million, and this is just the reading from the first chamber. The biggest twist is that a deeper anomaly has been found below, with a density twice that of the first, meaning the treasure you've just seen is just the outer layer. The real game is hidden inside. Rick's trembling voice was clearly heard. If this was just the entry, then what's inside? And brother, if you're a true Oak Island fan, this episode will blow your mind. But yes, let me tell you one thing honestly. If you don't subscribe, then the next update will leave the entire story incomplete. So brother, subscribe. Otherwise, the next twist will be missed and you'll be left with nothing. History Channel's official confirmation didn't come as a normal press note. In fact, this revelation occurred during a closed-door production meeting, attended only by the core team, a few senior producers, and the Oak Island Project's main investigators. The meeting began. Everyone assumed it would be a routine weekly update, but as soon as the new scan data was displayed on screen, the atmosphere completely changed. The data was so clear and perfect that the producers immediately exclaimed, "This is it! We can't ignore this!" The first confirmation came from the show's senior executive, whose tone was unusually serious. He stated unequivocally that the visuals obtained inside the chamber and the AI mapping were nothing short of a historic discovery. It was also revealed that History Channel had been having this data verified by independent experts for the past 3 days. All three sources, geology, metallurgy, and historical architecture, gave the same verdict. This is a man-made vault, and it contains high-value metallic mass. The reactions of Rick and Marty Lagina, who were sitting in the meeting, were also worth watching. Rick's eyes were filled with both excitement and disbelief. Marty was constantly zooming in on the data, checking details as if unable to believe that a 200-year-old discovery had suddenly become so clear. A slight panic also loomed among the production team, as such confirmation meant that worldwide attention was about to be focused on Oak Island. Some immediately began discussing safety protocols. Others put the camera crew on emergency standby. The most intriguing moment was when the History Channel official said, "We're ready to confirm it on record." Hearing this, the room fell into a few seconds of absolute silence. The crew felt as if someone had handed them the key to a centuries-old mystery. Rick simply said in a low voice, "So, it's real?" And the answer came, "Yes, Oak Island treasure exists, and we have the proof." The meeting didn't end there. It began a new chapter, one whose throbbing emotions every viewer still feels. The atmosphere at the Oak Island dig site that day was not entirely normal. Early in the morning, the crew had activated heavy equipment, and the drill had reached a depth of about 90 feet. A light fog, the smell of earth, and the hum of the machines brought the site to life. Rick Lagina stood at a distance, carefully observing the entire process, and cameramen were busy capturing every angle. But as the drill went deeper, the sound of the machine suddenly changed, a strange, heavy vibration that no one could explain. The operator immediately signaled that something different was striking below. The drill bit wasn't cutting through the soil as before, but was hitting something solid but smooth, as if there was a metallic wall below. The machine made a sharp metallic clang, and the entire rig shook for a few seconds. Confusion and fear were visible on the crew's faces. The safety team immediately turned on the emergency lights, as such vibrations typically occur when there is a large cavity or engineered surface below. As soon as the machine stopped, Rick first checked the depth meter. The exact reading was 94.7 feet. This was the same depth at which the GPR had shown unusual density a few weeks earlier, but no one expected the signal to be so strong. The crew decided that further blind drilling could be dangerous, so the entire machine was temporarily stopped. Complete silence descended on the site. Only the cooling sound of metal could be heard. These were the rare moments when Oak Island seemed to tell its own story. The real twist came after this pause. As the scientific team began fresh GPR and sonar scans, the shape that began to emerge on the screen shocked everyone. About 9,100 feet below, a perfect geometric cavity was visible. Smooth edges, a flat base, and a dense metallic lining all around. The GPR numbers had never been so clear before. A density spike of 8.9, while the average reading for normal soil is only 2.1, 2.5. This meant that there was a massive metallic structure beneath. Sonar imaging showed the cavity to be approximately 22 to 24 feet long, and AI-assisted modeling confirmed that the material inside was not natural rock, but a refined alloy. High reflection patches were visible in several areas, typical of gold clusters, copper plates, or ancient metallic artifacts. At one point, the AI even detected a hollow center, which could potentially be the chamber's main entry point. Rick's hands were literally shaking as this data scientifically supported the centuries-old treasure theory for the first time. When the engineering team saw the final composite scan, they clearly stated, "This isn't a natural void. Someone created it." Rick called Marty and the rest of the crew over so they could see the screen for themselves. Marty zoomed in and examined the layers, and his first line was, "This smooth surface could only be carved stone or metal plating. Nature doesn't make anything so perfect." The atmosphere among the crew became electric, as everyone understood they were on the verge of the greatest discovery ever. And the scariest part was that the reading didn't end there. Just below the cavity, the AI revealed an even deeper anomaly, the density even higher, the reflectivity twice stronger. This meant the real treasure probably lay beneath the first chamber. The machines hadn't been stopped. They had been stopped by Oak Island's biggest secret, and the silent signal received underground that day would change the course of the entire season. As the drilling rig was removed and the camera crew descended to get a closer angle, everyone thought they would find just another mud-filled hollow spot. But suddenly a strange, faint golden glow shot upward from below, as if someone had lit a torch inside and then turned it off. A dust blast erupted from beneath the machine, and a bright reflection swirled in the air, landing on Rick's helmet. The entire crew froze for a few seconds, because no one had ever seen such a reflection on Oak Island before. Operators quickly set up ropes, and the camera crew zoomed down in near panic as the golden flicker blinked repeatedly. Rick immediately bent down and shone a flashlight into the cavity. As the light entered, the reflection bounced off the walls, and it seemed as if no metal surface had been touched in centuries. The camera sensed vibrations inside, the ground shook slightly, and the soil slowly began to settle from below. The moment all the dust finally settled, the crew's collective gasp was heard. Below was a smooth carved wall that looked nothing like a natural surface. Its shine was so subtle that the camera auto exposure had to be adjusted repeatedly. There was fear, excitement, but most of all, disbelief. Had we really reached that legendary chamber? When the opening became clear enough for the camera to enter, production took a risk and dropped the camera downward. As soon as the camera landed, the first frame sent shivers down the spine. Neatly stacked metallic blocks lay inside. Faint yellow edges shone beneath the dust, and some rounded coin-like shapes were also visible. Complete chaos spread among the crew. Some were saying they were gold bars, some ancient coins. Some speculated they were metallic relics. The cameraman's voice could be heard. "Guys, these things look completely untouched." Zooming in revealed even more shocking details. Faint engravings were visible on some of the metallic pieces. Cross-shaped markings, curved lines, and patterns similar to those found on typical medieval Templar relics. Experts paused the recording and examined close-up frames. Their initial assessment concluded that clusters of highly refined gold, not low purity, were present inside, with reflectivity much stronger than natural nuggets. In one place, it appeared as if two large rectangular bars were stacked on top of each other with very little corrosion. This meant the chamber must have been air-sealed, preventing oxidation. When the valuation team checked preliminary density scans, the numbers literally stunned the crew. Internal metal value, estimated in the $200 to $250 range. Experts said that if all the bars and coins visible below were intact, this could be the largest underground treasure cluster in North American history. Some of the relics had shapes that directly matched Templar period literature, especially round-edged medallions and carved metal plates. A faded wooden plank was also visible in a corner, perhaps part of a chest or crate, which meant these items were kept in an organized manner. The most emotional moment came when Rick quietly said, 200 years of searching, and today, for the first time, we see clearly that this place really was hiding something. Marty checked the scans again and again, unable to believe his eyes. The production team was half scared and half stunned because the impact of this discovery wasn't limited to Oak Island. It could shake the entire historical academic community. And the wildest thing was that another metallic surface was faintly detectable beneath the cavity, which meant the real treasure was still to come. When the camera first zoomed in on the metallic blocks inside the chamber, the first thing that caught the experts' attention were the symbols etched into them. Faint cross-shaped marks were visible on the corners of some bars, not as if a worker had scratched them with modern tools, but centuries-old carved markings. The lines of the symbols were neither zigzag nor random. They had a specific symmetry, considered the signature style of medieval Templar carvings. When the camera angled the light slightly, the carvings also revealed a faded circular seal, consisting of 4 sections with different patterns of crosses. This was the same design found in old Templar vaults in Europe. Experts immediately froze the images and performed a forensic zoom. They found that the edges of the metal plate bore small chisel marks, which appeared to be made with hand tools, and the carving style matched Templar craftsmanship of the 11th and 13th centuries. Historians say that the Templars often stored gold in the shape of rectangular plates or bars, making it easier to transport and hide. The shapes seen in the chamber followed this traditional Templar storage pattern: stacked bars, circular medallions, and some flat plates engraved with religious geometric symbols. The metal purity test was the biggest shock. Sample readings revealed that the gold inside was approximately 91–93% refined. This level of refinement is documented only with the Templars in the Middle Ages, as they used advanced smelting techniques. Ordinary pirates or local settlers would not have such high markings in metal purity. The combination of purity readings and engravings almost confirmed that this treasure belonged to a medieval European order. When experts matched the shape of the carvings to old Templar archives, 3 symbols were exactly identical, indicating that Oak Island may have been part of Templar activity at some point. Now let's move on to scientific confirmation, because anyone can make claims based solely on symbols and gold. The geological team first analyzed the surrounding soil layers. They found that the outer wall of the chamber displayed a completely unnatural symmetry. Natural caves are irregular, but this cavity looked like a perfect rectangle. Smooth walls, equal corners, and straight alignment. Soil compression tests also showed that the soil surrounding the chamber had been artificially compacted, as if someone had deliberately sealed it to prevent air from entering and metal from oxidizing. This could not have been the work of nature. The AI modeling team also ran independent scans, and the results were surprising. 3D mapping revealed the chamber's inner wall to be of exactly the same thickness, around 18–20 inches, indicating an ancient, man-made structure. Such consistency is impossible in natural rock layers. Simulations showed that the cavity's shape matched centuries-old European vault architecture. At one point, the AI even detected what appeared to be wooden bracing behind a wall, possibly used as emergency reinforcement in Templar storage vaults. When independent metallurgy experts saw the density map of the metallic mass, they immediately declared, "This metallic arrangement is not at all random." The gold bars and plates were arranged in a symmetry, as if they had been arranged in an ancient ceremonial vault. Some coins also showed faint outlines and circular radii, a typical geometry of medieval Crusader coins. Experts said that if this belonged to a pirate group, the items would have been thrown onto each other, jumbled, or in irregular patterns. Here, everything appeared organized, meaning it could only have been in military-style order. And the final knockout punch. On the chamber's ceiling, the AI detected a small carved panel with the faded outline of a four-part cross, the same one found on Templar seals. Geologists, historians, and metal experts, all three fields studied the site from different angles and concluded this cavity is not natural, it is completely engineered, and its design matches Templar vault architecture. Upon hearing this, Rick had only one line to say: if this is really their vault, then we are just at the beginning. When the first clear glimpse of the chamber emerged, Rick's voice was the first to break. He literally knelt down near the opening and, placing his gloved hand on the mud-filled wall, stared for a few seconds. There was a strange mixture of shock and joy in his eyes, as if watching a 200-year-old mystery come alive before them. The crew fell silent. No one knew how to react in this moment. A camera operator's voice faintly said, "Guys, Rick is crying." And that brief moment left the entire team emotional. Marty Lagina, always calm and analytical, seemed to lose his composure this time. He kept zooming in on the scan screen, as if he couldn't believe his eyes. Marty took a deep breath and said softly, "We've been hearing all our lives that this is just a story, and today this story is revealed to us." Rick looked at them, and a few seconds of silence fell between the two brothers, heavier than any scripted moment. This wasn't just a discovery, it was a triumph for the dream of their father, Dan Blankenship, and all the explorers who had devoted their lives to the soil of Oak Island for decades. The crew's reactions were also worth seeing. Some were in tears, some were laughing in disbelief, and some simply sat on the ground, repeatedly checking the screen. The production team also experienced an emotional moment, knowing that this wasn't just TV history, but real history unfolding. Rick simply said in a trembling voice, "If Dad was here today, he'd say we finally did it." And after that line, all the crew members spontaneously clapped, as if Oak Island itself was ready to reveal its secret after centuries. But as news of the discovery spread through internal communications, something unexpected happened. About 45 minutes later, two black SUVs slowly entered the island entrance, followed by a government-marked pickup truck. Initially, everyone assumed they were routine inspectors, but the sight of the SUVs without number plates raised Rick's eyebrows. The SUV doors opened, and a few officials emerged. Serious faces, documents in hand, heading straight for the dig site. The officials first took Rick and Marty aside to speak. They explained that the chamber findings were historically sensitive and that the site would have to be temporarily sealed until the heritage authorities in Ottawa and Halifax granted clearance. Rick's expression completely changed. Shock, frustration, and fear all rolled into one. The officials ordered the camera crew to retreat and announced an immediate media blackout. Cameramen were confused whether they should record or turn off their cameras. One official simply said, "No filming, effective now." Metal detectors were installed at the site, restricted fencing was erected, and only teams with authorized access were allowed inside. Marty tried to remain calm, but anger was evident in his words. He asked, "Why did you guys just come? We haven't even opened the chamber properly." The official's reply was cold. "National heritage protocols. We'll decide what happens next." The crew members looked at each other, realizing that the matter had become more than a simple treasure discovery. The most tense moment came when the government team tried to take complete control of the excavation. They said that the artifacts found on Oak Island were no longer just documentary material, but could also be potential classified heritage objects. Rick's patience seemed to be wearing thin, but he controlled himself to prevent things from getting out of hand. The crew was dismissed, cameras were turned off, and the dig site was officially sealed. Fans will likely see just this in the next episode: how, after the discovery of treasure, politics begins on Oak Island, not excavation. While the government team was sealing the site, the AI team called Rick aside and told him they had rerun the latest depth scan. Initially, everyone's attention was focused on the first chamber, but the AI, analyzing the deeper layers, detected a shocking pattern. About 30-40 feet further down, a second cavity emerged. nearly 3 times as long as the first, and its density readings showed double the strength. As the outline of the deeper vault appeared on the screen, Rick's face changed color. Marty immediately zoomed in and said, "This is even more perfect geometry than the first one. If the first vault was so organized, the one below could be the real treasure chamber." The AI modeling attempted to map the cavity's shape perfectly. The result was so clear that the team itself was shocked. The edges of the lower cavity were perfectly curved, almost like vault-style architecture. It appeared to be about 65–70 feet long, many times more structured than any normal natural cave. Density readings range from 9.4 to 10.1, indicating refined metals or heavily engineered stone plating. This meant that not only was there a bigger vault below, but medieval engineers had built it like a multi-layered chamber without using modern technology. Whispers began among the crew members. If this is the real treasure, then the first one was just the entry chamber. The AI detected something else. An unusual core mass was visible in the center area of the deeper vault. This meant that a large artifact, a heavy chest, or layered crates might be stacked in the middle. The reflectivity pattern resembled that found in gold-plated relics or dense metal containers. Marty calmly said, "The first vault was just to lure us. The real thing is below." Rick simply watched the screen, excitement and fear evident in his eyes. The 2-century-old legend of Oak Island suddenly seemed very real. But as great as the excitement was, the dangers were far greater. The engineering team immediately issued a warning that digging deeper to reach the anomaly would be extremely risky. The soil beneath the first chamber had become completely unstable, and if they descended too quickly, there was a high risk of cave-in. The entire ceiling could collapse at any moment, making the entire site a dangerous zone. Looking at Rick, an engineer said, "If we want to go down, we'll have to build a double-reinforced shaft. Otherwise, a small mistake could turn into a major tragedy." The danger of gas pockets also emerged. AI thermal scans detected hotspots, indicating trapped gases. These gases can accumulate in a closed cavity for centuries, and if drilling is done at the wrong angle, toxic fumes can suddenly escape. The engineers clearly stated, this isn't just a treasure hunt. This is a high-risk underground mission. Crew members were instructed to have masks and oxygen monitors ready. Rick and Marty both understood that compromising their safety due to excitement could halt the excavation forever. The most frightening part was the booby trap suspicion. Oak Island legends have always held that ancient builders, from any time period, hid treasure behind trap systems. Stories of flood tunnels, pressure-triggered collapse points, and hidden channels have been repeated. The geology team also detected some unnatural channels in the soil patterns, which could be water diversion tunnels. This meant that if a drill was drilled in the wrong place in the deeper vault, the entire chamber could fill with water, like an engineered trap. Marty observed this and said, "This place was built for protection. Reaching the treasure won't be easy." The booby trap possibility changed the mood of the entire crew. Rick himself proposed stopping drilling for a moment, but Marty calmed him down, saying they needed a full structural analysis first. Government officials also became more strict due to this risk, because if the trapped water or gas exploded, the matter could reach the national security. Excavation was no longer just a search for treasure, it had become a race for survival and engineering intelligence. The same question echoed among the crew. Is the deeper vault the real treasure or a centuries-old trap? As soon as the History Channel's internal leak reached social media, Oak Island fandom exploded. Thousands of new posts appeared overnight on Reddit. Everyone was offering their own theories. Some said it was actually Templar gold. Others claimed Oak Island was actually a secret base for a medieval trade route. Hashtags like Nasher Oak Island Discovery, Dunas Templar Gold Found, and Russian Rick Lagina Explains trended on Twitter for hours. Fans were so excited that many began posting AI images of what might be inside the second vault. YouTube was flooded with reaction videos. People said it could be North America's biggest archaeological discovery. Some fans even created memes as a joke. One meme showed Marty descending deeper into the vault wearing an Iron Man suit, and another made Rick the main character from National Treasure Part 3. But serious discussions were also taking place. Experts, professors, and treasure hunters were offering their own analyses of why the deeper anomaly was so large. The entire world revolved around Oak Island. Fans were saying that if the first chamber was showing 250 million, the deeper vault could be worth upwards of 500 million. Social media literally went into meltdown mode. Everyone was saying, the second chamber must be open now. But the real question arose when Rick and Marty asked in a meeting what the next plan would be. Government restrictions were already in effect. The site had been sealed, and advance permissions were required for deeper digging. Engineers clearly stated that reaching the deeper chamber would require at least 10 to 12 days of preparation, construction of a reinforced shaft, gas evacuation system, and emergency exit route would be mandatory. Marty calmly asked, "What should we consider a realistic timeline?" The answer came, "Even if everything is perfect, it will still take 2 to 3 weeks to reach the second vault." Pressure from production was also mounting, as fans wanted updates throughout the episode. But officials issued a strict statement. No cameras will enter until the deeper vault is proven structurally safe. Rick was visibly frustrated, but he knew nothing could be done without clearance. Day and night scans were initiated at the site, clay tests were conducted, and the stability of the deeper cavity was repeatedly checked. AI also generated a new updated model, which showed a central mass and 2 side pocket structures inside the deeper vault, fueling speculation that it might be a multi-chamber treasure system. Fan pressure grew so intense that people began demanding hourly updates in YouTube comments. Some even began spreading conspiracy theories. Some said the government would secretly shift the real treasure. Others said the deeper vault contained something too sensitive for the public. Rick and Marty finally made a short statement. "We will open the second chamber, but with complete safety and legal clearance. Any risk could halt this discovery forever." Their calm tone reassured fans, but the fire of curiosity burned tenfold. The biggest suspense now is when the digging will officially begin. Engineers have promised a final stability report within the next 72 hours. If the report comes back green, construction of the reinforced shaft will begin. If a yellow or red signal is received, the project could stop immediately. The entire Oak Island community is hung up on this one decision because the deeper vault could be the real jackpot. One line from Rick perfectly captured this moment. If the first vault was real, then the second one will change our lives. As night deepened on Oak Island, the mystery of the deeper vault felt heavier. Rick stood alone near the sealed shaft where, in the darkness below, perhaps a centuries-old truth lurked. There was a slight chill in the air. The machines were off, and only the faint, hollow sound of wind could be heard from beneath the ground. It seemed as if Oak Island itself was waiting for a big moment, as if a story was about to be told below. But the time had not yet come. The tension in the crew camp was palpable. Some were looking at maps, some were rerunning AI scans, and some simply stared blankly at the numbers of the deeper anomaly. Marty said calmly, "This isn't just a discovery. This is the final gate to the greatest chase of our entire lives." Rick looked at them and simply said, "If this chamber is opened, the world will never see Oak Island the same." His words were filled with excitement and fear, for what lay beneath could change history, or halt excavation forever. And this suspense elevates your entire story to a different level. Because the truth of the deeper vault is still locked away, the scan reveals something big, something valuable, perhaps something no one was expecting. The next update, the next dig, the next signal, all these will decide in the coming days whether the true secret of Oak Island will be revealed or not. And brother, if you haven't subscribed, then the next twist will literally pass before your eyes. So brother, subscribe. Otherwise, the entire story will remain incomplete if you miss the next reveal.